Hello dear students of class 6, welcome back to our English class. We will be starting a new lesson again today with me, Miss Vivekunjovile, as your tutor. Today, the lesson that we are going to start is An Indian American Woman in Space. As you can see the title of our story here. Let me repeat, An Indian American Woman in Space, Kalpana Chawla. That is in chapter 4, okay? You will find it in chapter 4 of page number 44. I hope you can all see this, chapter 4, page number 44. This is what we are going to discuss about. But first of all, I want to tell you something that this is not a story that we usually discuss about. We have been doing stories like fairy tales or fictional stories, but this is a real-time story and you are going to learn a lot of things through this lady. Kalpana Chawla is a lady from India and she had settled in the United States of America. We all have heard of USA, right? So she went there and took their citizenship. And through this story, what you are going to learn is there are so many facts about her. That means the dates and years will be there. You should also learn to memorize those things and keep it in your mind because you are going to use it even in your future examinations. Plus, that is going to be some historic dates for each and every one of us. And as Indians, it is a proud moment to have a lady like Kalpana Chawla. And so it is also our duty to learn more about her, okay? And there are so many things associated with her that she gave a lot of inspiration to the people of India. So we should treasure her as a hero. She was a lady who was very well known in her time. She is no more with us today, but her legacy still lives on. The inspiration that was given by Kalpana Chawla still lives on amongst us. And that should be an inspiration factor for each and every one of us. In our lower classes, we like to read fairy tales. I'm not saying that you don't want fairy tales anymore, but we cannot just be living on those fictional stories. And I'm very proud to have this kind of story in our textbook, okay? Because this is going to be encouraging as well as help us to learn the facts that we should know and also be proud of our own country. We are all Indians, and so we should be proud of our country, India. Yes, this is the lady that I'm talking about. This is Kalpana Chawla. I'm going to tell you so many things about her today, but on your part, you have to listen to me very attentively. In the meantime, you can also use your textbook to refer to what I'm saying, or if there's anything that you have missed out or I missed out, you can always refer to the textbook that you have with you. Yes, word meanings are here. There are no word meanings given in a textbook, okay? You will find that there are no word meanings, and that is the reason why you might be wondering from where I brought this kind of things, but these are some words I feel like you will have to understand in order to understand the story better, okay? And these word meanings are not just for this story, but you will hear these words again and again of people talking about it. And so when you don't understand it, I'm sure you would feel awkward when people are talking of things that you are ignorant of, that you do not know about it. That's why I just brought a few words for you to understand. I'm going to point at it. You can read after me. Naturalized citizen. That is citizenship obtained by passing certain criteria or legal means. Let's repeat. Citizenship obtained by passing certain criteria or legal means. Next clue. A list of persons who served aboard on spaceship, ships, etc. A list of persons who serve aboard in spaceship, ships, etc. Frontiers of space. Field of endeavor for research and development. Frontiers of space. Field of endeavor for research and development. Aboard, on or into an aircraft, ship, train, or vehicle. On or into an aircraft, ship, train, or vehicle. If you are on the aircraft or airplane, that means you can say you are aboard the aircraft, okay? That is what we are going to discuss about. These are some very important word meanings that you will use it again and again in the story, or you will have to come across it over and over again And by now, since you have learned the word meanings, I'm sure you will be able to understand the story even better. You might have gone through the lesson once or twice, or some of you might not have gone through it even once. I don't mind about it, okay? But it is always better for you to go through your text. Whether your teachers tell you or not, it is always important, because when you are prepared well ahead of it, when your teachers explain, you understand the story even better, because you have the basic, you have the foundation knowledge about the story, okay? If I ask you if any one of you have heard about Kalpana Chawla, I'm sure many of you will say yes. Some of you may be ignorant about her, but you will learn it in your general studies, in your general knowledge. Or you might even have heard her names on TVs or watched her videos, okay? She has become so popular, not just because she is from India, but she is a lady. She was a lady of so many qualities, which we will be discussing over these two classes, okay? But before getting into the story, you have to know what is this. Yeah, I've already written the name. That is an aeroplane, isn't it? We all have seen aeroplanes. We all have seen helicopters. There are different kinds of planes. We know that. There are some planes that are used for fighting, some for carrying passengers like this. Some will be for carrying cargoes. Cargoes means things, okay? And there will be so many kinds of planes, but we are going to discuss about spaceship today. Why I gave this aeroplane picture is for you to differentiate between an aeroplane and a spaceship. So, as I've said, this is a spaceship. Spaceships are not passenger planes, okay? The similarity between an aeroplane and a spaceship is they both fly on space, right? Space or in the air. But for us as a common people or as a student, sometimes it might be difficult for us to comprehend or understand the difference between a spaceship and an aeroplane. But let me explain to you. A spaceship is usually used by astronauts, okay? Spaceships are usually used by astronauts. They use it for their researches. You might also be wondering, what does an astronaut do in the space? That is a question that many of the youngsters would be having in their mind. Some of you will have better knowledge about astronauts because maybe you are interested in those kind of topics, but majority of the students may not be aware of what an astronaut do. They go there for so many different purposes. Some will go for research, some will go for discovering new things, and we will see that even Kalpana Chawla would be a lady like that who would be traveling on spaceship. I want you to imagine if you were given a chance to travel on a spaceship, what will you feel? Many of you will be excited, but many of you will still be scared, right? Many of you will still be scared. You might be imagining, if anything happens to me while I'm still on space, or if something goes wrong, what will my family feel? Will I be able to come back? Will everything be okay with my spaceship? That is a question that most of us will have in our minds. But the difference between we and Kalpana Chawla can be the courage to take the new step, okay? The courage. We should always have the courage to go on a step. If you have made a decision, go for it. We should not be scared, because if you think about so many things around you, you will just be pushed back down, okay? That is where your dreams will be shattered. Kalpana was not a lady like that. She dreamt of something. She carried forward her plans, and that was why she has become a well-known name in India and even over the world. Okay, so we can always follow her footsteps. We blame of so many situations in our life, but that is not going to work if you want to be successful. The situations around you will always be there. It may be financial issues, it may be so many other reasons your parents are restricting, but when you take the right decision, at the end of it, everyone will start supporting you. And you will see that very well in the story. Okay, we are also going to see some difference of words, of spellings between the British and the American English. Sometimes I'm sure you get confused because even your teachers or your elders write a different spelling, and then you find different spellings for the two words which are same in meaning, similar meanings, but they will still have different spellings. And that is mostly because there is a difference of American and British English, okay? you will come across a word called program in our textbook. Why? Because this story of Kalpana Chawla is based in America, and you will see words like program, P-R-O-G-R-A-M, program, but here we see P-R-O-G-R-A-M-M-E. That is just because one is British English and the other one is American English. You see this? Another one is airplane, and in British English it's called aeroplane. We mostly use aeroplane, right? And the other one is C-O-L-O-R. We use this one C-O-L-O-U-R, but in the American English they will use C-O-L-O-R for color. Okay, labor, the same thing. In British you will have U, in American English you will have only O, and then neighbor, same thing, you will use only O in American English and O-U-R in British English. I want you to keep this in your mind, okay? Because whenever you get confused with the difference of spelling, you might be blaming your teacher. Sometimes you might even be blaming your parents, right? When your parents give you a different spelling and your teacher gives you one, you will think that one is wrong. And most of the time, we think that our parents are wrong, right? Your parents can be right. I'm not saying that whatever your parents are saying will always be right. Sometimes even elders, even adults like us make mistakes, and you know that very well. But it can be because of either American or British English. They might have studied in a different version. That's why difference of spelling occurs in your writings or even in your textbook. But both can be accepted. Majority of us here in India, we use the British English. This is a news clip. Okay, news clip means this is a news headline in America. Okay, when a spaceship broke down. I've shown to you the spaceship, isn't it? So we are going to read about an incident. We do not know what kind of incident. Let's read. Tragedy in space. U.S. Space Shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. That means a spaceship. A space shuttle is a spaceship, okay? A space shuttle in U.S. in Columbia had broken down into flames. That means there was an accident. How painful that would be, isn't it? We get worried even when a small thing, a toy in our house gets broken. I'm sure you get hurt. People may not be hurt by the toy. So imagine a space shuttle in flames. There will be people in it. There will be a lot of expenses. Forget about the money and the expenditure that has been put into it. There will be a lot of good people. And it is not easy to be an astronaut. There will be astronauts there in that spaceship. So losing of their lives would be a big loss to the world as well as the country to which they belong. Because when they go to space, they go for research, and those researches would be for human use. And most of the researches on space would be for the benefits of human use. And so imagine producing an astronaut who had been researching so much, and every astronaut cannot go up for research. They have to go through a lot of trainings. We have to go through a lot of trainings even to be a teacher, right? Or even to be a doctor. So imagine being an astronaut. They have to undergo so many trainings, and after every training is completed and perfect, then only they go to space for research, and the loss of lives would be unimaginable, leaving aside the financial loss that we would have to bear. And so the news had given, I have not written every news in detail, all the sentence in detail, but on 1st of February 2003, an accident occurred in Columbia, that is in USA, at 9 a.m. You can look at this, at 9 a.m. and the space shuttle was traveling at around 20,000 kilometers per hour. I repeat, 20,000 kilometers per hour. It lifted off on 16 January 2003. That means it started its journey on 16th of January 2003, and the accident occurred on February 1st, 2003. It was launched at Kennedy Space Center. I will show you the picture of Kennedy Space Center too afterwards, but first of all we have to complete this. And there were 7 members in the space shuttle. I want you to have an imagination of that. 7 astronauts, okay? And they had already conducted 80 experiments. They had already conducted 80 experiments. I want you to keep the number of experiments that they conducted. The speed, that is 20,000 kilometers per hour. they lifted off on 16th of January 2003, and then the accident occurred on 1st of February 2003. Yes, you can see that just behind me here. I've already given the details, okay? Because if I write in sentences, I know you will be confused. And moving on, this is what I am talking about. This is the picture of the space shuttle, okay, which met with an accident. So they met with an accident here. And Kalpana Chawla was a child in Karnal, Haryana. That is in India, okay? I've told you in the beginning that she was an Indian citizen before she went to America, and then she never feared to cross the frontiers of space. Many of us would be fearful, right? And as a lady, people thought that she would be fearful to cross the frontiers of space, but she is not fearful. She graduated from India, that is Tagore School. Parents supported her for engineering. Many parents in India are not very supportive when their daughters want to go for fields which are not very common, but we have to be proud that there are parents like this, okay? And in the present days, we see that parents have become more supportive of their children. And you are so lucky that we are so lucky. We are growing up in such a generation where our parents are always supportive of our careers. They don't tell us to go for doctorate if we don't want. They don't call us to be designers if we don't want. They said, whatever you want, you can do, isn't it? Except few parents, majority of our parents in the present generation are very supportive of what we want to do and what we want to choose. These are two pictures of the city of Karnal. I cannot give you the full city in view, but these are two places in the city of Karnal. I'm showing you this because these are the places where our astronaut Kalpana Chawla grew up before she went to America, okay? And these are some details about her. She studied Bachelor of Science, Aeronautical Engineering, and then she obtained master's degree in United States of America. That was against her father's wish. Father was a little reluctant to send her to America, and many of our parents sometimes feel that, not because they hate us, not because they don't want us to be successful, but because they fear that things wrong might happen to us. And so when she wanted to go to the US, okay, for her studies, father was against it, but she managed to go. She earned her PhD in aerospace engineering, and she was also the first Indian American woman to blast off from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, right, Florida. That is in USA. She was the first Indian American woman. There will be other American women, but she was a lady who had attained citizenship in America, and among the Indian Americans, she was the first person. And she participated in a successful mission in space. And the family, when she took off, even in the year 2003, when she took off, her parents, along with the staff at Kennedy Space Center, supported her and they cheered her. Imagine the joy and also the fear that the parents would be going through because their daughter is going to space again. This is the Space Center, Kennedy, okay? This is where she took off when she was prepared to go for her researches again. And she was a person, like I said, naturalized US citizen. That means not citizenship by birth. I told you in the beginning of the word meaning, right? She has a naturalized citizen. That means she's not an American by birth, but she took the citizenship of America. And then she married to a flight instructor, John Perry Harrison. And she was not only an astronaut, but these are some qualities that she had. She was licensed to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes, and gliders, certified flight instructor. And after she finished her pilot training, she applied for NASA and worked as research scientist, okay? And we all have heard of NASA, right? And it would be such an opportunity to work with that. And unless you have some qualities, unless you have very good qualities and sincerity, it would be impossible for you to enter NASA. And in the year 1994, she was also selected for training an astronaut. That means she became an instructor herself. Since she has finished all her trainings, now she has become the instructor. And this is the symbol, okay? You will find this outside the office of NASA. I'm just showing you this for you to have an idea of what it is. And as a woman, she never felt, when people asked her whether she felt scared as a woman to go to space, she said that she was never fearful. And she never felt that she was a woman, and she never felt insecure or inferior. Many times we feel insecure and inferior, right? And because this was also because she had a healthy environment. People around her said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. Sometimes when you have a negative environment, people will just discourage you even into doing good things, right? But Kalpana Chawla was very fortunate to have a healthy environment. People around her had always been encouraging her. And so this is once again her picture that I want to show you. We will continue our story in the next class, okay? And we have just finished half of our story, so I want you to be present in the next class again, because I'm going to come to you with more facts and details about her. Thank you.